Why can you work 8 hours for someone else, but struggle to work even 2 hours for yourself? Why can you survive meetings, deadlines, pressure, and noise in a job, but freeze the moment you sit down to build your own thing? And no, the real answer is usually not laziness. The first lie people tell themselves is simple: I just need more discipline. The second lie is even worse: if I can't work on myself for 8 hours, maybe I'm just weak. That sounds tough. It sounds mature. It sounds responsible. But in most cases, it is just the wrong diagnosis. In a job, you are not just working. You are being held by a system. The schedule exists before you arrive. The priorities are mostly set before you start. The deadline is already there. The context is stable. Someone notices if you drift. Someone reacts if you slow down. That is not a small benefit. That is a massive psychological support structure. Research in occupational psychology keeps showing the same thing. Structure, perceived control, and accountability change how people experience workload. When you work for yourself, all of that disappears. Now, you are not only the worker, you are the operating system too. You create the task. You define what success even means. You choose the priority. You set the deadline. You launch yourself. You monitor yourself. You judge yourself. And you keep going without clear external feedback. That is why working on yourself often feels heavier before the real work even begins. So no, you are not just bad at focus. You are paying a hidden tax before the work even starts. A tax on decisions. A tax on uncertainty. A tax on self-regulation. A tax on having no external structure. And if you keep calling that laziness, you will keep solving the wrong problem. Now, let's make it even more brutal. Stress doesn't just make you feel bad, it makes you think worse. Acute stress hits the exact functions founders depend on: working memory, cognitive flexibility, inhibition. That is not motivational language. That is what the meta-analysis shows. Then comes the next trap: switching. You answer one message, then jump into product, then money, then hiring, then operations, then back to email. And because you were active all day, you call it productivity. But science is cruel here. Every switch costs you, and unfinished tasks leave attention behind. You are not only doing many things, you are also dragging cognitive residue from one task into the next. That is why your day feels full and empty at the same time. And then people say something unbelievably dumb: I just need to force myself harder. No. If your day is built on bad switching, vague priorities, weak feedback, and constant self-launch, pressure will not save you. Pressure is not a system. Guilt is not a workflow. Self-criticism is not architecture. Now let's kill another myth. Maybe the answer is simply to work 8 hours like a real adult. That idea sounds respectable. It also sounds industrial, because 8 hours is a historical work container, not a sacred law of human cognition. And the data on long working hours is ugly. Output does not grow in a clean line. Returns fall, fatigue rises, and once hours become too long, the bill is paid by health too. WHO and ILO link working 55 hours or more per week to materially higher cardiovascular risk. So if you are a founder, stop worshiping the number 8. For many people, real founder output looks more like this: 2 to 4 hours of deep, high-value work, then separate windows for operations, communication, reviews, and admin, then recovery. Not one endless soup of everything. A structure, a system your brain can actually survive. So what do you do tomorrow? First, reduce the cost of starting. Use implementation intentions. Simple if, then rules. If it is 9:30, I sit down and write the one result that matters today. Second, choose your priorities before your best cognitive hours get eaten by noise. Third, limit work in progress. If everything is open, nothing is moving. Fourth, build external accountability on purpose: a partner, a mentor, a weekly review, a demo, a deadline outside your own head. Fifth, package communication. Stop checking messages in the middle of real work. So if you can work 8 hours in a job, but not on yourself, Stop calling yourself lazy. Maybe one system was carrying you, and the other one does not exist yet. Until you build it, you are not fighting a weak character. You are fighting broken work design. In a job, you sell time. In business, you sell clarity. And if you want to work on yourself longer, deeper, and cleaner, stop worshiping hours and start building a system your brain can trust.